Okay, it appears we are streaming. Let's make sure. Good morning, everyone. Time for another Lyricanium Live Tour. We're gonna have a good time. Yes, we are. Now, if I can find where it's live. Default. You know what? I have a better way to find that. Not sure what we're going to work on today. I have some ideas, but I'm not quite there yet. I did update a few small things on the app, the Epic Page Master app. I will show you those in a few moments, and then we will begin work on whatever we're working on today. I also, since the last time, got Claude Code working, so we may end up having some fun terminals stuff today. Potentially working on some of the disorganization of Notes of Destiny, maybe? We will see. We will see. I definitely need a second brain to work on that, even if it's a rock brain. Rocks being silicon. All right, let's see. We're going to go lives. Make sure I'm live. It shows I'm live. Let's see it in the control room, and it's saying connecting. Okay, yep. No, I'm live. Wonderful, wonderful. And we've got our chat open for anyone who wants to join in. Everything seems to be working well. So let's show you. I'm also just eating breakfast and chilling. I'm gonna be on here about 2 hours, Lord willing. Like I said, I want to do more of these during the week, and people can enjoy them if they want, as well as, you know, it'll give me clips to pull. So, content, yay! I actually don't hate that phrase as much as a lot of the people in the brood do. I'm happy to do whatever's needed to get the word out. But that's a whole other attitude sort of thing. Any which way. Coffee. Let's see. So the two things I changed. Well, I think I added this since then, so maybe there's 3 things. I just added a little text to speech and settings to this bar right here because I intend on potentially using Epic Page Master to make my website. I like the user interface, the way it works. Another thing that I changed is the stickiness of the scrolling from document to document, and changed the size of it toward the bottom here. You can see when I scroll from Trouble in Colonner's Courts to the next one, you'll see it brings up that little bar down there, and if you scroll all the way through, it goes to number 3, right? Same going backwards. It used to be really, really like you could barely bump it and it would scroll to the next one. And I didn't like that so much. So I made it a little bit harder to scroll through and made the indicator a little bit bigger. So that's how it works. Hello, cool kid, with random letters and stuff. Good to have you here. We're just working on some, an app that I'm using to write my epic poetry that I created and vibe coded and all that, as well as actually writing. So those are some of the changes I've made: the text to speech and the stickiness of the up and down scrolling, as well as this is just a little button here, read on Lyricanium Live Tours. If I check this, it will save in the backup file just to let me know that I have actually read through this. Literally just a nice little thing for me just to make sure that it I don't reread stuff and rework on stuff constantly. So we're gonna go ahead and get going on. Ooh, let's see. We're just gonna do a random doc. So which one is this? This is 21 to be determined. So this is going to be one of the longer projects, probably fellowship, or what do you call this? Royal visit. Okay, so this is Rhyming Thumbelina, which I have been working on for a while. I plan on making it a 50 poem epic, which is a good bit longer than my other ones. I'm slowly ramping up the length of my fairy tale retellings. And after Rhyming Thumbelina, I'm pretty sure I want to do a 100 poem epic of Beauty and the Beast. Sort of taking my favorite parts of various versions, keeping it being a fairy tale. But, you know, making it a little bit more interesting in regard to, you know, just the things that I liked about it, kind of putting them all together, keeping it a fairy tale. I'm not interested in changing that, but really just kind of bringing out the most fairy tale-ness of the story. So, we'll work through this and change this as we go. There were a couple in here that I had AI drafts of. There aren't many that I actually ever did AI poems. But I plan on working through those and changing them around. In the future, I think I'm going to be using AI for prose, basically prose renders from which I can pull poems. Just especially to get the general nature of it down, but then try and put it in my own words. So yeah, that's just kind of the way I plan on working on it. So let's see here. Number 1, a true story. And I'll be pausing to take a few bites here and there because I am still eating breakfast and relaxing. Got ham and cheese and eggs. ASMR? I don't know. If you don't like chewing, sorry. This is a lot more chill than Poets at War, which is saying something. Number 1, a true story. Once upon a time, long, long ago, there lived a funny old man in a small town called Window. It seemed a quaint little town. In fact, it seemed a bore, but not to that funny, rascally old man. His name was Winston Moore. Winston used to run a farm until his back got broke. Now he wandered around town telling stories and jokes. People in Window loved Winston. He always engaged their minds. And in turn, they paid him for his craft and for his valuable time. One day, the many children in town gathered right after school to witness the rascally, wispy-haired man spin a yarn or two. They gathered around town's only well, and soon they began to beg. "Tell us a tale, Mr. Moore." We need to add children for dialogue and Mr. Moore. So, for those who don't know, this is for TTS skip phrases. And Mr. Moore. Okay. "Tell us a tale, Mr. Moore." Did I tell you, children, the one about the pig?" "Yes," they all shouted exasperatedly. Oh, that's a fun word, exasperatedly. "How about the one about the bottle in the sea?" "Yes," they cried in anticipation's wake. Okay, individual child. Let's add that one. "Tell us a true story." "I know a true one that's great. Hold on to your little hats. This tale might blow you away, for it happened to me and my wife 20 years ago to the day." Number 2, kindness. Once upon another time, long before our first, there lived far out in the country a young farming couple with a thirst for children, though for many years they tried but couldn't bear. It seemed a longing for their seed God did not entirely share. Still, the couple prayed and never gave up hope. They never despaired while doing their work, no matter how hard it was to cope. And as you'll see, as this story I got two as's there. Let's get rid of one. Let's go when. And as you'll see, when this story moves on, even when you're feeling rejected, God can move in mysterious ways that you never would have expected. I'm noticing some things that I probably end up needing to call back to, notes to myself. This particular phrase here, the even when you're feeling rejected, God can move in mysterious ways that you never would have expected. Also, the town called Window. That's fun to play with. I might be able to use that. One fateful day, there was a knock at the door, just around supper time. Another farmer was at the door, and his health appeared on the decline. Let's add young farmer and old farmer. Okay. What can I do for you? The young farmer asked, confused at the sudden visit. My crop has been very bad this year. I was trying to see if... Well, let's add a spot right there. I was trying to see if it would be worth a crust of bread or a bean or two if I was to trade you these flower seeds. The old farmer looked down at his shoes. The young couple did not have much food. They traded with the poor man. But they traded. And they planted the flowers to bring color in their lives, into their lives. I'm going to say into. And that's where our story began. Okay. Number 3, Maya. The next morning the sun rose. The rooster's crow loudly did ring. Okay. The next morning the sun rose. The rooster's crow loudly did ring. Mr. and Mrs. Moore got up to the sound of someone singing. The voice was faint but clear, like precious crystal or glass. It came from the seed they had planted yesterday, which was grown and now shined like brass. Its flower shone like the radiant sun, its leaves like emerald green. And on top of the petals stood the smallest little girl either of them had ever seen. Good morning, said the girl, with glee in her eyes. Are you my mommy and dad? The girl would have looked about 6 years old if a normal size she had. I'm going to add girl and add it here to the skip phrases. There we go. And we need Mrs. Moore added. There we go. All right. I'm not sure, said the man. I'm not sure, said the man shakily. Who are you? What is your name? I don't think I have answers yet, she shyly did proclaim. Well, where did you come from, little one? I hope that you'd tell me. I think I came from that big bright thing. She pointed to the flower-like tree. I'd like a name if you have one. What might your names be? They introduced themselves to the girl, and she giggled again with glee. I like the name Maya. That sounds like a beautiful breeze. I think a unique girl like you deserves a name to match. Please. What do you think of Thumbelina? After all, you're the size of my thumb. I like both names very much. Can my name be the sum of both those names, Maya Thumbelina, and can I be a more? Both Maya's new parents smiled and simply said, "Sure." Like that. Like the way that goes. All right, number 4, Maya's early years. Stretch. And so Maya's tiny life began with the Moors. A precious gift she was, but unlike a daughter, she couldn't help. Okay, hold on. Was because. And so Maya's tiny life began with the Moors. A precious gift she was. But unlike a daughter, she couldn't help with chores or farm life because of her diminutive size, but she made up for it with love. Instead of working in the kitchen or moving crops with a shove, she was charged as the family bard and danced on books all day. She'd float across from word to word and sing or narrate the play. She read so much that Mr. Moore had to write the stories he'd heard into roughly bound manuscripts for his daughter to rehearse. And though the Moors had little to no singing talent at all, Maya learned from the birds in the garden who lived up above the wall. Her parents questioned this odd behavior, tweeting up at the birds, but Maya insisted she could understand them, every single word. As Maya grew, so did her heart, and as her heart, so her mind. And the Moors enjoyed all of her joy, and so passed Maya's early time. Okay. Can I go? Number 5. Oh, I need to be marking these that I've read them. So we'll do that. So number 1, we have read. There it is. Next one. I don't wonder, can I just... Yep. I think it should be Maya's early time, because that's what I say. Yeah. Okay. Now we're good. Number 5, can I go? When the time came around where the Moors would celebrate Maya's birthing from her flower, they threw parties great, the greatest yields from their garden and meats from their fields. Every time it was Maya's birthday, their special love they revealed. Well, upon Maya's 10th birthday, which was approximately her 16th, because she was fairly mature in her flower when the Moors found her, I think, Maya had a simple request, so she sat down with her dad. And every time she did so, it made his heart warm and glad. We need to add Maya to the skip phrases. There we go. What is it you want to ask me, Maya Thumbelina Moore? If it would be okay with you, I'd like to go explore. I'll take whatever I need with me, supplies for trail and trek, and weapons so I could protect myself and so not risk my neck. She stood up tall upon his knee, trying to look as tall as she could. And if you let me go explore, this is why it would be good. I think there are pixies out there, just like the ones in our books, and maybe if I could meet just one, he would give me a look, like the ones you give to my mom. And he would want to marry me. And then I wouldn't be alone in this world. Tell me, can I go, please? Mr. Moore scrunched up his face and very gingerly replied, Maya Thumbelina Moore, I know what you're feeling inside. It's normal to want to explore God's earth, and it's normal to want a spouse. But Maya Thumbelina Moore, you could be eaten by a mouse, and I would not be doing my job before God to protect you. Please don't ask to go out there. That is something you should not want to do. Maya sat down on his knee, and a sulky look in her eyes. But what if you're depriving a pixie man from meeting someone his own size? I have never seen a pixie before, and I've been near and far. I don't think that they are real, Maya. Oh, but Daddy, they are. You didn't think little people like me were real before you saw. Maya, I do not think you should go. There's too many safety flaws. Maya took hold of his pant leg and swung herself down to the floor. She ran over to the ornate dresser, not saying goodbye to Mr. Moore. She climbed the ornate woodwork up to the dresser's top and curled herself up in a ball inside her covered cot. She cried at her father's first birthday wish rejection and felt childish for that fact. She knew her father's affection. She knew he wasn't being tyrannical, but somehow that made it worse. So she recalled into memory a bit of poetic verse. Though all hope seems but a dream, though you've no power at all, do not fret, for God is big, even when you're small. We might need to bring that back around, too. That might be a callback at some point. All right. Number 6, Fairy Court. I need to mark red. I forgot to do that. There we go. From the tiny bed of Maya to the towering palace oak of the pixie king and queen, our story now goes to look. Imagine if you would. This might be a AI one, maybe, potentially. But maybe not. I don't know. It just seems very formalized. We shall see. From the tiny bed of Maya to the towering palace oak of the pixie king and queen, our story now goes to look. Imagine it with me, if you will, an ancient carved oak tree, and on the lawn in front of it, all animals brave and free. They stood before the fairy court pleading two sides of a case between the woodland animals and those that lived on the lake. On one side stood a hardy mole, Mr. Malverf by name, and on the other was Widow Rana, an old frog starting her claim. The king of the pixies, named Colbert, stood and spoke his piece. All you creature citizens, from greatest to the least, I have heard your cases now, and I must ask you this. Can we not share this water and the food in this? Must we fight over who gets what? It seems a simple fix. Share the food that we gather in exchange for water? I would probably vote yes. There is no vote, Widow Rana. I'm simply asking you this. Suddenly, a shape came shooting into view, like a bomb from a blitz. The shape in question made everyone scatter. A bird touched down, and everyone screamed, "What's the matter?" "What's the matter?" came a voice. Then everyone was convinced it was not an attacking force. It was just the Pixie Prince. No, I don't think this one was AI. I think I wrote this one. So just enough weirdness in it. Give me a moment. I will be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I had a phone call I needed to take care of, so we're back. However, let's see. Where was I? We need to add Colbert. Oh, I need to add several more. Colbert, Mr. Malworth, Widow Rana. Let's go ahead and add those. Let's go ahead and say red. Okay. And that's most of them. We already got voice. Okay, I think that's everybody in this. Oh, Phelan. So that's the prince's name. Let's go ahead and add that one. Okay. Just the Pixie Prince. We'll read from there. He rode astride his swallow morning song. He tossed his hair to one side. The king stood up and stared at him. Boy, must you always ride, ride. You were invited to this court, yet you turn up late like this. Off to your room, Prince Phelan. How could you be so remiss? The prince looked as though he would begin to speak, but instead he turned his swallow skyward and flew up to his room in retreat. He whispered into the swallow's ear as they flew up above. He wouldn't judge me so if he knew the things I know of. All right. That's going to be Colbert. Add. Wait, no, that should just automatically. Okay, there we go. Your brashness knows no end, Prince Phelan. Let's go ahead and add red. Why do you seek only thrills? You ride out on your swallow morning song and every day take a spill. One day you will fall too fast and your wings won't carry you. Aisling Morningstar warned her son. Oh, wait, no, that's going to be... Okay, that's Aisling Morningstar. That's the mom. That's why I didn't immediately... Okay, yeah. So we'll add Aisling. So I didn't introduce her yet, which is why I didn't put that there. I didn't feel a need to, because we're not... Yeah. Your brashness knows no ends, Prince Phelan. Why do you seek only thrills? You ride out on your swallow morning song and every day take a spill. One day you will fall too fast, and your wings won't carry you. Aisling Morningstar warned her son up in his room's tower view. Mother, I do it because I am blessed with immense fortitude and skill. My father did stunts with his spurred Sunstreak, and it is my joy and will. He did until he met with me, and I helped him stop his foolishness. Colbert was wild and reckless, son. He and you bear witness to the need men have for calming women to be their life's influences. Let me help you, Mary, my son. Stop this utter stupidness. Phelan made to protest, but his mother simply raised her hand. Do not worry. I'll do the work and bring maidens from all over the land. You have but to choose just one to be your wedded wife. And with that, she left the prince in a fit, that warm spring night. Just then, on the sill of Phelan's room, Morning Song did alight. I'm sorry for... We need to add Morning Song. To skip phrases... I'm sorry to bring you and your mother to such tension and strife. It's not your fault, old friend. She worries too much over me. She thinks I need a calming influence, but I just want to be free. I'm not against the idea of marriage, but I don't want a girl to hold me back. I want a woman who will follow me, and whose heart adventure doesn't lack. Morning Song smiled his birdie smile, and Phelan's eyes became bright. I know of a maiden nearby who's beautiful, tender, and slight, and she longs for adventure, or so she says, in all of the songs she sings. She looks the size of a pixie woman, but she has no wings. At the mention of no wings, the prince lit up. His smile stretched from ear to ear. He jumped up on Morning Song's back and said, "Where is she? Where?" I'll take you to her now, my lord." And the two flew off in a snap, off to find this non-pixie girl, and possibly bring her back. Okay. Let's see if there's any dialogue tags I haven't used. Nope. So we're just going to go with this. Okay. Number 8, Maya meets a pixie. "Careful, Morning Song. We do not want to be seen." "Do not worry, fair prince. The big people are in that pasture green." Phelan looked and saw the Moors, assisting a mother horse in birth. "And even if they did see you, they are kind for what it is worth." The swallow alighted on a window sill, and the ears of the prince were floored with the clear and cool glass-like voice of Maya Thumbelina Moore. She sang an ancient bardic tale of a prince returning home, his father's lost treasure from across the sea, and the story is quite a tome, with dragons and battles, and that story is quite a tome, with dragons and battles, with honor and valor and might. But here is a little portion of what she sang that night. "Of all the comforts I take my leave. It is my job to go and receive the adventure that awaits me. Fraught with terrors though they may be, no one can stop my loving heart and inner being." I'm going to do a cutoff there. Just then she paused in the middle of her song and noticed the swallow. "You've been on that sill how long?" She laughed and clambered over to her swallow friend, who visited her for a song and story every now and again. She hugged him close, and he hugged back. You nearly gave me a heart attack." "I have a little surprise for you, little one. Or have a surprise for you, little one." "Oh, don't keep me waiting. Show me before long." The swallow Morning Song signaled the prince, and the prince flew right in. He bowed a low and royal bow. Maya was dumbstruck then. Let's see. I've been reading for... We got 34 minutes on the stream so far. Okay. Number 9. Frog Napped. Widow Rana and her son Sapo worked upon the banks of their lake. We need to add Rana and Sapo. Rana. Whoop. Sapo. Okay. Widow Rana and her son Sapo worked upon the banks of their lake, performing maintenance on one of their dams so that they would not break. The dam served to purify the water and mineralize it as well, and to keep the banks from overflowing in a storm or swell. "I wish that you did more at the meeting. The pixies walked all over you." "I never had a chance, my son. What was I to do?" "I am sick of the pixie rules. Pixies. I must say pixies." "And my son, I am too." "So the pixies must be overthrown." "Well, what are we to do? We cannot raise up arms against them. We would lose that fight." "I'm tired of woodland creatures stealing our water every night." "Can't you just be happy, my son? Maybe the pixies are right. Trust their mighty wisdom. You do not have to fight." Sapo grew angry and red. Rana thought he'd explode, but before he could, the pixie prince flew by over the road. Nearby over the road. He was mounted on his swallow, flying full steam ahead. If not for the swallow's flying ability, many would think him soon dead. Why is he going toward the Moor's farm? Whatever it is, it can't be good. I am very alarmed. Mother, please swim upstream and take a look. We cannot have him be flying around so close to our home. Follow. Go and see. Flying around so close. Oh, yeah, I already read that. Yes, my son, right away. She hopped off of their dam. Then she headed down the road as fast as froggy legs can. All right. Next. Number 10 on the lily pad. Let's check for dialogue tags needing to be added. I don't see any. Wonderful. Oh, son. I need to add son and mother. So we'll add those. Skip. Okay. And add red on the Lyricanium live stream. Okay. The ride had been quite bumpy, and Maya had been knocked out, but she slowly awoke to a swampy smell and a lake all about. One of the frogs, the one that took her, was old and motherly. The other was her big young one, and he seemed quite surly. Marrying this pretty girl will be sweet revenge on the prince. I feel like I'm missing some. Frog napped. Yeah, I probably need an 8A poem. Yeah, I need a poem between Maya Meets a Pixie and Frog Napped. But on the lily pad, we'll continue on, and I'll make a note of that. Okay. The ride had been quite bumpy, and Maya had been knocked out, but she slowly awoke to a swampy smell and a lake all about. One of the frogs, the one that took her, was old and motherly, and the other... I feel like there is another one somewhere. Huh. Let me go check my... So I used to write these on Trello. And I'm going to log in and see if it's still there. See what... if there was a poem in between there that I missed. That is thoroughly possible in my backup. All right, dismiss. Fairy folk tales. So this was what I was using. Okay, so let's see. Rhyming Thumbelina. So we've got Fairy Court. Maya Meets a Pixie. No, wait, Rana and Sapo. Maya Meets Phelan. I did skip ahead. Okay, we need to renumber some of these and get these other ones in there. Let's go and let's see. For now, let's go. We need to do Phelan Morningstar. Maya Meets a Pixie. We need Rana and Sapo. Do I have that one? I think I do. Yes, I do. So the one in between is Maya Meets Phelan. And it goes before Frog Napped. So there's only one here. Okay, this is it right here. We need to add this one in. So let's come back here. And we are going to do edit new doc after. This one's going to be Maya Meets Phelan. Okay. So this is good to start. but we need to add the number. Okay, so this is going to be, I think this is, okay, let's just, let's collapse all. Let's start looking through. We're going to go World of Derivatives. We're going to do Folk and Fairy Tales, Season 1, Episode 6, Rhyming Thumbelina. We're going to do Before Frog Napped. So this will be actual number 9. And we're going to edit, change the parent. Oh no, it is set as Rhyming Thumbelina, so that should be correct. Yep. And we're going to change Frog Napped to 10. And on the lily pad to 11. Prince's End. Fin Swallow to 12. I think that's correct. Let me just make sure. The Royal Visit. So, should be Frog Napped on the lily pad, Admiral Fin Swallow. Frog Napped on the lily pad, Admiral Fin Swallow. It should be the Prince's Find, not the Prince's End. Did I just read that wrong? Yeah, it is the Prince's Find. And then now what? The Royal Visit. Okay. We're going in the right direction. Do I have? I think I had something and then I said I need to. Yeah, I have a version of it, but it's an AI one. I was going to completely rewrite it. And I have a prose version right here. Okay, we're just going to keep this up as we work forward. So, we're going to go back to, whoops, Fin Swallow and, okay, Prince's End is 13. Now what should be 14? The Royal Visit should be 15. Okay. This one, I think I can delete. Yeah, okay. All right, I think that's correct. Yeah. Okay, this untitled one needs to be deleted. How do I delete? Do I literally just have a batch delete now? Collapse all, deselect all. I'm going derivatives. Really should just have a delete this one, but that's might be good actually because it keeps me from just willy-nilly accidentally deleting something. So this one, delete. There we go. All right. I think we're in business as far as this goes. So we were on, right. So we need to read Maya Meets Phelan. So we did Maya Meets a Pixie, then Maya Meets Phelan. Is that correct? Maya Meets a Pixie, and then Rana and Sapo. So actually, this is so crazy. All right. Why am I all over the place? There we go. Okay. All right. So Rana and Sapo. Do I not have Rana and Sapo in here either? I don't. I just have Frog Napped. The That's crazy. Okay, well, we'll take 16. We're going to change this to number 9. Rana and Sapo. And we will go ahead and add that. It's not all fun, crazy glamour to write epic poetry. I laugh even saying that. Okay. But this was what I thought was Frognap. That I read this. Okay. So that's Rana and Sapo. Maya meets Fuelan should be 10. Okay. Frognapped is here. So this should be Frognapped. Okay. Frognapped, change this out. Okay. And then this one should be 11. This one should be 12. This one should be 13. This one should be 14. And this one should be 15. And then this one should be 16. Okay, now I think we're in business. So actually, Frognapped is further ahead. We read Rana and Sapo, but we need to go back and read Maya Meets. Nope, we read Maya Meets a Pixie. We need to read Maya Meets Fuelan? No. Oh, this should be 11. And the other one, this one should be 10. So we're going to read. There we go. Okay, yes. So we read Rana and Sapo. Now, okay, yep, we're good now. All right, number 10. Though their night together was short, indeed, so were they. An avalanche of friendship and love between them started on that fateful day. For you must remember, little folk are more impulsive than we, especially little Maya, who thought that there was nobody else sized like she. Fuelan puffed and swaggered for her, though in a sincere way. Not like he was truly prideful, just excited to see her this day. Maya stumbled over her words until she began to sing, melting Fuelan's swaggering heart into a cold pool shivering. She sang and entertained him long. He interrupted to ask questions. This did not bother Maya. She put her heart's best in, the songs and stories tumbling over her tongue, and in the end Fuelan remained stunned. Soon morning song began to warn of the Moors returning home. Fuelan brushed it off as long as he could, but the time for that had gone. This needs some dialogue in here, even though it's a very, very good, what do you call it? A very, very good montage of what happens in what's the term? In narration. Okay. Your parents already would not approve of this, much less you revealing yourself to men. Fuelan and Maya frowned at each other, but something magical happened then. Without a word, Fuelan took her into a warm embrace. Maya was intoxicated by his strength. I pray you give me grace. I promise you, Maya, I will come back. And with that, he went away. Maya began a farewell song, but he was gone before she could say the first line, and so she laid down to sleep, though she couldn't, with all of the thrills. Then she heard a rustling sound over by her windowsill. I really do like this. We just need some dialogue here. So we need a Fuelen line here. And we need a Maya line here. Maya singing. Waylon stunned. Maya thanks. Yeah, that should do it. So let's write something. So. Take a sip. Though their night together was short, indeed, so were they. An avalanche of friendship and love between them started on that fateful day. For you must remember, little folk are more impulsive than we, especially Maya, who thought that there was nobody else sized like she. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so that'll go. Greetings, maiden small and fair, if maiden true you be. What wondrous notes flutter from your heart so wild and free? I am Fuelen, Pixie Prince, and might I ask your name? You're really, truly a pixie? She leapt and had no shame. Fuelen puffed and swaggered for her, and that's perfect. Yeah. Now, as long as I treat it as though he told her he was the prince, we're not going to have issue. I don't think I was making it a plot point that she didn't know he was a prince. I know some people get weird about that. It's a fairy tale. I'm just going to continue forward with that. Waylon puffed and swaggered for her, though in a sincere way. Not like he was truly prideful, just excited to see her this day. Maya stumbled over her words until she began to sing, melting Fuelen's swaggering heart into a cold pool, shivering. I have some poetry from a song I could add here. I'm not using it for anything else. But do I want to? You know what? Let's do something cool. I'm going to go grab a book. One sec. Plagiarism. But for real, this book is super old. Most of this is public domain at this point, and a lot of these poems would die if I didn't occasionally bring them out. Ooh, okay. This might work. The moon shines. This is just a passage from. This might be more. I don't know how well known some of these are, but I kind of like giving something that's real. Christabel by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. I'm gonna look this up and do a little research on it, but this group right here stuck out to me. The moon shines dim in the open air, and not a moonbeam enters here. But they without its light can see the chamber carved so curiously, carved with figures strange and sweet, all made out of the carver's brain, for a lady's chamber meet. The lamp with twofold silver chain is fastened to an angel's feet. Seems like something she would know and say here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and throw that one in there. I'm gonna look this up though, see how crazy popular it is, because I want to see if it'll fit. You know, I a little bit more context, although most people probably won't care. Christabel Samuel Taylor Coleridge. I do not know enough about old poetry. I need to learn more. Christabel, the Poetry Foundation. Wikipedia. Christabel is a long narrative ballad by Samuel Taylor Coleridge in two parts. The first part was reputedly written in 1797 and the second in 1800. Coleridge planned 3 additional parts, but these were never completed. Coleridge prepared for the first 2 parts to be published in 1800 edition of Lyrical Ballads, his collection of poems with William Wordsworth, but left it out on Wordsworth's advice. The exclusion of the poem, coupled with his inability to finish it, left Coleridge in doubt about his poetical power. It was published in a pamphlet in 1816 alongside Kubla Khan and the Pains of Sleep. The story of Christabel concerns a central female character of the same name and her encounter with a stranger called Geraldine, who claims to have been abducted from her home by a band of rough men. Christabel goes into the woods to pray by a large oak tree where she hears a strange noise. Upon looking behind the tree, she finds Geraldine, who says that she has been abducted from her home by men on horseback. Christabel pities her and takes her home with her. However, supernatural signs, a dog angrily moaning despite being asleep, fading flames on torches suddenly reigniting, Geraldine being unable to cross an iron gate, denial of prayer, seem to indicate that all is not well. They spend the night together, but while Geraldine undresses, she shows a terrible but undefined mark. Behold, her bosom and half her side, a sight to dream of, not to tell, and she is to sleep by Christabel. Christabel's father, Sir Leoline, becomes enthralled with Geraldine and orders a grand procession to announce her rescue. He ignores the weak objections of his daughter, who, although under enchantment, is starting to realize the enormity of Geraldine's malign nature. The unfinished poem ends here. Interesting. Yeah, I kind of like this one. Christabel was an influence on Edgar Allan Poe, particularly his poem The Sleeper. Okay. This is interesting. I'm going to have to read all of Christabel. I read Kubla Khan, so I am familiar with Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Okay. All right. I really like that one little bit there. I'm going to put that in. Let me find the poem and just copy it. See, I want people to go back and actually read these other ones too. I don't want to be just completely separate from history. The moon shines dim in the open air. Okay. Yeah, we're going to go right there. Maya? Okay. Oh, all right. She sang and entertained him long. He interrupted to ask questions. Though this did not bother Maya, she put her heart's best in, the songs and stories tumbling over her tongue, and in the end, Waylon remained stunned. Okay, Waylon. Truly, I've stumbled upon a treasure. Hidden in a home of men. Truly, I've stumbled upon a treasure hidden in a home of men. I'm glad my songs warm your heart. I'm happy to be with you, Waylon. Soon, Morning Song began to warn of the... Yep, that's perfect. That's perfect. I like how that went. Those upgrades are fantastic. I'm happy with that. Okay, we read this one. Let's double check these other ones. We read Rana and Sapo. It was named something else because I copied it wrong. Okay, we're good on that. Good on that. Good on that. We're moving to the next one. Okay, this is actually Frog Napped. The not what I read earlier. That was Rana and Sapo. Okay. Let's see how we're doing. We have how much time left? I've been streaming for about an hour and 5 minutes. We'll continue forward. Maya stared at the sill for a moment, waiting vigilantly to see what the strange noises she heard rustling would turn out to be. But nothing seemed to answer that call, so Maya cautiously looked away. Perhaps it was just the wind she had heard this day. that she had heard this day. Then, quicker than you could say your name, a frog leaped. I used leapt earlier, as I'm fine with using leapt. A frog leapt at Maya with a bound. It croaked a quiet and bubbly sound. You're coming with me now. We're going to add frog to the skip phrases. Maya screamed and yelled for help. I don't want a period there. And grabbed a toothpick to strike. She poked at the frog with all her effort. The frog was actually quite light on her feet as she dodged the thrusts, and it quickly began to be heard. Maya's parents, the Moors, stirring as Maya brandished her wood sword. This is taking far too long. Then the frog swished out her tongue. It held a bag that surrounded Maya, and then Maya heard the snap of a walnut closing as she began to go higher and higher. The frog jumped out of the window and safely down the lake, carrying her bundle inside a bag and walnut shell. Well, that went very great. Number 12 on the lily pad. I don't think I'm going to change anything about the other one. The walnut bag thing might be confusing, but if she has... Okay, yeah. I'm going to leave it. The ride had been quite bumpy, and Maya had been knocked out, but she slowly awoke to a swampy smell and a lake all about. One of the frogs, the one that took her, was old and motherly. The other was her big young one, and he seemed quite surly. Marrying this pretty girl will be sweet revenge on the prince. I agree completely, my son. Agree, not agreed. We did it in a pinch. Maya stood on wobbly legs. I will not marry you. Rana hopped over with sympathetic eyes. Darling, why so blue? Why do you say you won't marry my son? We only want to help you. And get revenge on Fuelan. Tell me that isn't true. Rana paused for just a moment, though she thought up a lie. Then she thought up a lie. If you want to marry the prince, I'm afraid it'd be better to die. The prince is a young and violent fairy. Pixie. He destroys all that he touches. The fairy court has destroyed our land. You shouldn't even be a duchess. And besides, if you do not know this already, should you really marry a man who you've known for such a short time, for such a minuscule span? But while Rana sought to use her long silver tongue to mislead Maya dear, and Maya thought of her hypocrisy. I saw through her saw. She hadn't known the frogs long either. Maya had been gauging her surroundings with escape in mind for fear of what... Okay, why I'm interrupted though. There we go. That works. And Maya saw through... Okay, let's just read from here. But while Rana sought to use her long silver tongue to mislead Maya dear, and Maya saw through her hypocrisy, she hadn't known the frogs long either. Maya had been gauging her surroundings with escape in mind for fear of what they might do to her soon if she didn't try to leave here. So she swooned and toppled on her lily pad, falling off her feet. She sighed and feigned faintness with expert acting ability. She'd done this many times for her stories, and she wanted desperately to be free. "Oh, my sweet and tired child, you do need your rest. We will leave you alone a while. I think that would be best." Rana and Sapo hopped away, and in a moment they were out of sight. It was time to think up an escape plan, and Maya considered her flight. We need a little bit more there. That works. Just that little addition there. "Oh, my sweet and tired child, you do need your rest. We will leave you alone a while. I think that would be best." What if she just swims away? I don't know why he turned Australian or something, or British. "She has no gills or fins. It'd be nearly impossible, my son. Please, let's give her a minute." Rana and Sapo hopped away, and in a moment they were out of sight. It was time to think up an escape plan, and Maya considered her flight. Cool. All right. Next one. Admiral Finswallow. All right. Maya let her body lay, with eyes closed, plotting a plan. Wondering if the frogs really left, she had to get back to her clan. But while her eyes were closed, she heard a tune bobbing down the stream. She wondered if she'd drifted to sleep, and the shanty she heard was a dream. I'm going to add "the sun was rising." The sun was slowly rising in the east, nighttime was bidding farewell, and the shanty seemed to rise with the sun as its chorus began to swell. "Way hey, out the stream, Her Majesty's Royal Navy does gleam. Way hey, out the stream, an admiral cometh, shout and scream." Maya nearly followed directions, and the fish singing nearly did too. They both stared in fright. They both started in fright when they saw each other's strange sight anew. Add fish to skip phrases. And Finswallow. "Good morning, ma'am. Didn't see you there. I'm Admiral Finswallow, if you care." "My name is Maya, and I'm kind of stuck. I seem to be having the worst sort of luck." "What seems to be the trouble? Can I possibly help? I warn you, I've just been diving among the kelp, and seem to have won myself a battle scar." He turned, and she saw a hook that did mar the fish's upper lip. He must be in pain, and he continually sighed again and again. You poor thing, maybe I can assist.
I've always had a stiff upper lip, but then again, it does seem to bite and pry. Oh, what would be the harm in giving it a try?
The fish swam over, and Maya began to work, to slowly shift and pull on the fish hook. Pull on the hook. I'm going to say the hook, not fish hook. In a moment, it was out, and the fish cheered and swam.
All praises be to you, little ma'am. Now I must help you if I can.
Maya then began to recount the tale of how she was stolen from her windowsill by the mother frog, and then promised to marry, and how all of it would have been so incredibly scary had it not been for the prince of the pixies visiting her, and how she was incredibly sure that he would come eventually and save the day.
Well, I hope I won't be getting in his way. If I help you across to the far shore...
That is truly something I'd love and adore. The fish then lifted his gigantic tail and slapped at the water without hesitation or fail. The wave rose up, and Maya grabbed tight to her lily pad, which rose in flight and landed over upon the shore. Then he yelled to her thanks once more, before swimming off. Then Maya began her walk and journey back inland. I like that, yeah. A little change I made, I think, works. We're getting toward the end of what I've written here. Let's see what time I'm at. We're at 1:18 minutes. So we got some time. Let's see. Okay. The Prince's Find. Yeah, this one I'm pretty sure was a AI one that I worked on. How close am I? Now what? And the royal visit. I think I need to... I'm getting tired, and I think I need to get back to other work. So I think I'm going to end this one a little earlier. I'm trying to shoot for 2 hours. Obviously, it's pretty hard to do that. But we'll see how it goes in the future. Yeah, we did a lot of work on this one today, and we got through number 13 of 16-ish that I've written. Obviously 15 is titled but needs like to be completely rewritten. We made a lot of progress on this. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and save this. I'm gonna get it uploaded for people to look at. Let's do that while we're on air, and I can talk about some things while I do it. We're gonna do save all to get this backed up first. So this one's going to go in Lyricanium backups. There we go. And then I'm going to do a save all. And once again, if you want to check this out, this software out, this app for your own writing, you can go to joshuadavidling.com/EPM. It is free to use. And we're going to go ahead and call this one. Oh, I did Save all, save select. There we go. All right. So we're going to collapse all, save selected. We're going to do an HTML front end. This is Ling Lyricanium. And we're going to generate. There we go. And we'll put that in backup. Let's go to my website. And we'll fix that upload real quick. Poets at War should be out tomorrow if all goes well, if I get all the editing done. I've been working on getting a new schedule together where I'm putting out constant media for all my brands and just trying to do well at that. Let's see here, get some good numbers moving. So let's see, where are we? Our Ling Lyricanium. Here it is. We're going to upload a new file. That will be this one we just generated. And upload. Loading. And let me just remind myself of what that link is. I made a special redirection for you all. Loading. So that is LL Read. So joshuadavidling.com/LL Read for reading the Lyricanium. You can go check that out. And if you want to use the software, once again, joshuadavidling.com/EPM for Epic Page Master. You can use it for free. Download your own stories as is. You can export as PDFs. You can do all sorts of stuff. That's going to do it for today. Everyone, be your family's bard. Do not turn to the right or to the left, and the Lord will be with you wherever you go. We will see you next time on the Ling Lyricanium. Bye.